Welcome to episode 4 of Bakemonogatari. Last time we were introduced to Mayoi for the Mayoi Snail arc, and Senjogahara and Araragi are going along with her now, and we don't really know much about her yet. Most of the episode was a conversation between Araragi and Senjogahara. She was just kind of introduced properly towards the end, so I want to see what her deal is, what's up with her. We're going to watch the episode, discuss it at the end. I've got the subtitles and the timer here if you want to follow along that way, or you can pull up the episode on your own. But either way, we're going to go ahead and watch episode 4 in 3, 2, 1, play. Lost cow, I'm sorry. Is that right? Alright, immediately starting out with some Japanese language stuff. As he's on the phone with Oshino. So we're dealing with a lost cow. And he's tired. Okay, some Japanese language intricacies there. And yeah, the new OP again. I still love the fact that they're doing different OPs for each arc. That's really cool. And it's so different than the last one with the stapler. This one's just bam! Bouncy, happy, fun, crazy, in your face. So I can't wait to see how this plays out, because the second episode of Hitagi Crab was fantastic. So to see how the other girls' arcs play out, I want to see how well they're done too. There's the snail. But while the OP is playing, let me just say that if you enjoy these videos, subscribe to the channel, because there's a new episode of Bakemonogatari every Saturday, in addition to the other videos that I upload every single day of the week. Also, check out the links in the description down below. There's Twitter and Discord if you want to come talk and hang out, and there's Patreon. Supporting me on Patreon helps the channel to continue being the way that it is, and gets you early videos, and lets you choose what shows I watch, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. It's a very energetic, fun opening. It makes me excited to learn more about her. So here we go. Spring vacation, huh? A vampire. This was in the past. Can't read all that, but I'll go back and look at it later. Mayoi Snail, Part 2. So empty. But I really like that. I talked about that, I think, in episode 1. It's kind of like the emptiness and the minimalist style that it has sometimes. This is where Senjogahara was. It's weird that he interpreted her to mean literally right here in this exact spot that I'm standing. Like, if I had heard her say that, I would have thought that she would have meant, like, one of these houses. But he knew that she meant right there, which there's no longer a house there. She's hiding behind him. She forgot that he abused her. Of course not. As should probably call the authorities. Really? Is he underage? I know he's in his third year of high school, but might still be underage. Is it Parent-Teacher Association? Is that something different? Okay, yeah. Oh, English. Oh, one of those. That's probably not what he needs. You're right. Does it? I mean, you think she's like got any limits as to the insults that she'll throw at you? Steins Gate over here with all this bright white. Mother's Day posters up celebrating Mother's Day, really shoving it in their faces. Oh my god, yeah, that was terrifying. All the white cars. Huh. Speaking of terrifying. Great thumbnails, though. But don't talk to strangers, that's a thing. That. Really? A vending machine. The sisters. But it didn't work on her. Well, shit. I will pay you. And that's all it takes. I don't know, adults would probably go for that too. Take bribes. Adults know the value of money more than kids. Yeah, of course, none of them are at home. They all have mommy issues. Don't know about Mayoi. I don't know if that makes him an indecent person. Is that not as impressive? Oh, it has to be a motorcycle, huh? She like cars too? For what? Oh, because four wheels. Clever. Weird. Gahara's just kind of staying out of this. You haven't been here for a while? She added too many. Arararagi. Durarararararara. Everybody stutters. I do it in every video. Bus gas blast, bus gas blast, bus gas blast. It's hard to do it while I'm listening to the show. What? What are you talking about? No, I don't believe you. Basagasa Bakahatsu. What? Drowsy. Clever. What a deep little girl. Where'd she go? She's hiding over there. Bus gas blast, bus gas blast, bus gas blast. Basagaso Bakuhatsu. Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. One smart fellow, he felt smart. One smart fellow, he felt smart. One smart fellow, he felt smart. She's really freaked out by Senjugahara. Bring her into the conversation. Probably. Yeah, yeah. I'd like it if they all died. Even when she was still a kid herself, this experience with the younger kid, what happened? I can't even imagine. Okay. What did he do? Or she? She's freaking out here. What the fuck are you talking about? That was absurd. Yeah. Um, what a strange story. She's laid out flat on the street. Odd. I can't say I'm a big fan of kids myself, and I have difficulty talking and connecting to them, but not for any reason like that. Yeah, give it a shot. Or not. They're having a real hard time finding this place. It really feels like they're caught in some kind of weird labyrinth with the way just the like everything is so like white and bright. So she was trying to get to her mom, which I assumed. Huh. It feels like they're just like stuck in some weird place. Just for some reason they can't get to this place. I don't know. I'm thinking. Unless like maybe her mom is dead or something. Could she be dead? So is somebody dead? Or some kind of creature like that, a spirit type thing. Tsunade. Uh, I'll buy you ice cream, so won't you come a little closer? Buh. This is correct. Because she's dead? Alright, so they're not together. And she's with her dad right now. It's fine. This music, it's adding to like the creepy vibe of the whole thing. What's the deal with the snail? Don't touch the child. He wanted to pat her on the head. Oh god, ow! Jesus Christ! Oh! Whoa! That's when the vampire comes out. The ex-vampire. Did he just fucking punch her in the damn stomach? Unripened fruit. Oh god, no. He hit her again because she's still holding on. And he's bleeding a lot. This is insanity. And he's proud of himself again. I did it. I've defeated the child. Hollow, yes. Yeah. The chalk outline. Hopefully she'll forget again. And there's that healing. I love the way that looked. Hanekawa! Haven't seen her since a little bit of episode 1. Beating up children. No big deal. Why doesn't she like staying at home? She's just knocked out. I don't know. Said that about Senjugahara too. Help me, please call the police. Save me. I hate you. That's easy to do. A good head rub. Wonder if that's gonna have meaning down the line when we learn more about her, because she was apparently... It seemed like she was like a werecat. So who knows? Maybe she did eat people at one point. Yeah, that's bad. It's pretty bad. Also, don't do it if it's not your child. Didn't expect Hanekawa to show up in this arc. Yeah, they've gotten closer since then. The heart beating fast. How do you think it is? Well, it's not. She doesn't know what yaoi is? Is that what that means? Is that really what it stands for? Has she heard of her? She lives in the Leaf Village. Ha, get it? 'Cause Naruto exists? It's a pretty funny joke. Took me a while to think of it. That's fine. What's up? That was the exact moment. Because she called him. And that's how he got her number. So Shino... Yeah, but you met a person who met it. You're still getting wrapped up in all of it. Okay. So she's there? Meme talk. I know that's not how his name's pronounced, but it's funny. You can keep all these girls around, solving their problems, thus keeping them around in what would be called a harem. I would hope not. I love the stuff going on his phone. What just happened? Of course. What? Okay. We still have no idea what the deal is with this snail cow. I was talking about spirits and ghosts in some way. Sure. Dude, good for you. Misfortune. Please do. I would hope she does. I would like all the details. Yeah, it was a little all over the place. Oh, that's it. Oh shit. Okay. I still have no idea what is happening with her. Like we haven't gotten a clear picture like we did with the crab, like what the crab did to her and how we had to combat it, you know? So we're going into a third episode of her arc and we really have no idea what the deal is with this snail, cow, or her mom, or really anything. It's just more banter between them all. Hanekawa getting in there a little bit. But yeah. I have no idea. Spirits and ghosts. That's about all I got to grasp onto right now. But we'll see what the preview shows. I don't pay much attention to the previews just because I don't want to get too spoiled on what'll be next, but just a little bit. And I like to hear the little sister banter at the end and their little quiz show. And the ending is cool. The visuals. So yeah, we're continuing next time with more Mayoi Snail. I have no idea what to expect here. I don't know what's going on with this. Alright. Here's the preview. What is happening in this preview? Just more violence against her. What's the quiz? Give me the question. I can do it. Give me the question. What are you talking about? They didn't ask a question. They didn't give me the quiz. Well, there wasn't a question, so I got it right by default. I win. Let's talk about the episode. Alright, episode 4 continues the Mayoi Snail arc, which we'll be further continuing next time. And nothing actually happens in this episode. Like, all that literally happens is that they look for the house and can't find it. Senjugahara goes to see Oshino off-screen while we focus on Araragi and Mayoi. But, that's it. Like, in terms of actual actions taking place, events occurring, it's basically nothing. But I don't even really care, because it was entertaining regardless, because of the dialogue and the visuals. It's not one of my favorite episodes out of the few that I've seen so far. It's not, probably, like, thinking back on it, probably won't be one of the most memorable ones, like, oh, the episode where that happened, because not much really happened. But just in the moment, it was still entertaining and fun. I love the interactions. I still think it's really funny. I still really love all the visuals and everything. Especially in this episode, the way they're walking through these neighborhoods and everything looks... It made me think of Steins Gate, which I mentioned a lot during the reaction just because I'm watching that right now too, and everything's always so like white and bright and blown out in that show. It made me think of that, just all the sterile, I guess, aspect of this neighborhood, everything looking the same. It's very empty and minimalist, like a lot of the stuff in this show. But just all, like, even the cars, they're all just like the same white car. It makes it really work with the fact that they're lost, just making everything look exactly the same. And I really think that contributed a lot to my theory, which I'll get into, but just in general, visuals were really great. Some of the facial expressions from Araragi and Mayoi were really good. Even when the scene is just talking on the phone, and most of the visuals are just of the phone screen, they even still make that visually engaging, because they do all kinds of weird shit on the phone screen. Just stuff like that, where it's just always engaging to look at. And the music was really good too, and that played a good part in it. And then the dialogue is always just fun. There's a lot of snappy banter. You've got Senjugahara, who doesn't really have a lot to do in this episode. She's mostly silent and walking ahead of them and kind of ignoring them. She just kind of hates kids, I guess. Most of it's about Araragi and Mayoi interacting, which is good, because I definitely wanted to know more about her. We have very little grasp on where this is going, or what exactly the supernatural phenomenon really is, other than my theories, which I'll talk about. But yeah, in terms of like plot and everything going on around Mayoi, still very little idea. I really don't know what's going on next time, but just in getting to know her, we do that a lot in this episode, and even a little bit of Hanekawa. But Senjugahara mostly is just kind of walking out there on her own, goes off to Oshino at the end. She doesn't have a lot, but what she does have is really funny. Some small little things like the PTA thing, like whatever the other thing she said was, just little lines like that totally don't need to be there at all, because it doesn't amount to anything. She's like, oh yeah, parent-teacher association, or this other, like, surgery thing. But I don't think that's what you meant, so parent-teacher association. Like, it's just a funny little line that is thrown in there that just makes me like Senjugahara, because she's very entertaining, and her insulting Araragi and everything, and she doesn't like kids, and it was a weird-ass story. Like, she bumped into a kid. It's when she's still a kid herself. She's in middle school, but she bumped into a younger kid, and I guess she felt bad about it, and she was like, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, and she was saying she was bowing and groveling, and I guess she didn't like that about herself, because it was a kid. She didn't know how to react, and then she resorted to that state, and she didn't like that, so then therefore she hates kids. Weird. Okay, sure. But yeah, there's also a little bit of Hanekawa, which I didn't expect. I didn't expect to see her here. Not too much, but it was cool seeing her interact with Mayoi, be kind of like the mature one in the situation. Not somebody who's going to beat up a child again, but a mature person who's going to handle things responsibly. Where she's out here on Mother's Day too, she says, I didn't want to stay at home, so is that leading to something whenever we get a focus on her for an upcoming arc? There's some issue with her mother as well, or just general family issues. We'll see where that goes. I also, maybe I'm looking too far into it, but I noticed the line when she said, like, oh, I could just eat you up. I wonder about that, because we know there was some kind of thing with her and, like, a cat. And she looked like some kind of cat thing. I've been calling it a werecat, so I just wonder if that's a reference to that at all. I learned what yaoi meant today, if that's true, which I think it is. From what I can tell, I didn't know yaoi stood for that. interesting, cool, neat. And I like Araragi's repeated line that he says to Sindhugahara and Hanekawa both, like, oh, you should know everything, don't you? But she just knows what she knows. So anyway, on to the main stuff with Mayoi and Araragi. I was really enjoying their conversations, him trying to appeal to her, figure out how he needs to talk to her, kind of trying to talk to her in a way that's like his sister's, and seeing how she is childish in a lot of ways, in the way that she acts a lot of the time, accepting the money or ice cream or whatever, but she's more mature in other ways too. She wants to try to handle the situation on her own, despite having so much trouble with it and not being able to get to this place that she's going, which is her mother's house on Mother's Day. She wants to go visit her, and she's also into like wordplay and tongue twisters and more complex jokes than children would generally be, like when she was saying like the foring instead of touring. There's a lot of Japanese language talk in this episode that I don't fully understand, or that doesn't really mean much to me, as usual. A lot of talk about it's a snail, or it's a lost cow, and her name means this, and this name means that, and I'm just like, okay, sure, if you say so. But there's some that works in English too, like with the 2 wheels on a motorcycle, or 4 wheels on a car, so it's foring. Bus gas blast, all that stuff, the joke about the animal that eats dreams, which is actually mankind. It's a pretty good one. But then they just getting into a fight again, and it's just really entertaining to watch. He just fucking... She's a little child, and he just fucking BAM! And then like when she falls, and he grabs the boob, and it's unripened fruit, and the biting, and it's great. It's weirdly unsettling, but it's also extremely entertaining. But anyway, as I was saying, I really think the visuals, when they were lost, communicated a lot, because it really felt like they were kind of trapped in a way. Like, just the way that everything was so sterile, the way the shots were composed, and the music and everything, it made it feel like more than just being lost. It felt like they were literally in some kind of weird, labyrinthine, other dimension type thing. Not literally, maybe, but like in a place where you can't find your way, or you can't get out of, or you can't get to where you're trying to go. That they're just like stuck in some other kind of place. I don't know, first random similar-ish thing that comes to mind is like JoJo Part 4, the alleyway that has the girl ghost in it. It's just like this weird area, you know, some random thing that comes to mind. And I bring that up because I think ghosts are what we have going on here, or something similar to that. My first thought was, what if her mom is dead? She's trying to like get to this place and like find some way to commune with her dead mother. But then I thought, well, maybe she's the one who's dead. And it might not be literal ghosts, they might not actually be dead. It might be some weird made-up supernatural phenomenon similar to that. Because, you know, the crab, that was like this wholly unique, unexpected thing. It might be something like that. But either way, that's the theory I'm operating under now. It would make more sense for Mayoi to be the dead one, because, you know, this whole thing is going to be Araragi helping these girls with their supernatural issues. And maybe she would have a mom that she would want to speak to in the afterlife and resolve that issue, and there you go. But if she herself was the one more personally affected, she was the ghost, that would probably be more likely. And just the fact that she was saying that she's tried many times to get there and she can never get there. They do mention later on, Oshino mentions, the snail is more like a spirit or a ghost, and she says like, oh, we never met, technically, her and the snail, so it's like she is the snail, which is like a spirit or a ghost. And just the fact that she's saying like, I never make it there. So for whatever reason, if she died outside for whatever reason, is like stuck out there as some kind of wandering spirit and can't go home or go anywhere else, which would be really sad because she's a child. That's not cool. And if I end up being right about that, that's like really impressive that I got that basically entirely from the visuals. Because looking back on it, there are things like that in the dialogue where she says like, oh, I've tried and I never make it there, and I'm talking about spirits and ghosts. But what gave me the idea was purely the visuals. and the fact that they were lost in this place and like they were out of range of the signal and how they couldn't find this address, just the way that scene was presented and played out, I guessed that just from the scene itself, and then those little bits of dialogue just kind of reinforced it after the fact. So if I was right about that, then that's just really impressive that they were able to communicate that with the visuals of them being lost. And I also wonder if Senjougahara knows a little bit more. Maybe she can tell that there's something going on with this girl that Araragi can't, because she says, when she's talking about how she hates kids, she says, "Human or not, I hate kids." Which, really funny scene. Loved Mayoi's reactions to all this, how she was so scared of her the whole time. And that was just a really funny line. It's just like this over-the-top absurd line, like, human or not. Totally unnecessary thing to say, but it's just funny. But then, thinking back on it, with my theory that Mayoi could be a ghost, maybe there's actually more meaning to that line. Maybe she actually knows that Mayoi is not technically human. I don't know how she would be able to tell this, but maybe that's the case. And then towards the end, when she's leaving to go to Oshino, she like insists on her being the one to go, and she says, "Whatever you do, don't leave me alone with that kid." It's kind of got like a weird look on her face. You could just attribute that to her hating kids, and I really think it works either way. Like, it works in the moment, just that as a funny line, and then at the end just attribute that to her hating kids. But it feels like there could be more too, that'll have more context later when we find out more about what's going on with Mayoi. It feels a little more than that. There's like some other deeper reason why she doesn't want to be left alone with her. So I feel like she can tell that there's something weird about Mayoi. But also, some of the text that was at the beginning of the episode talks about the time when Araragi was a vampire, and I went back and read some of that, and a couple things that are mentioned there. He says that he has good eyesight, which actually answers a question that I had in the last episode, because he was able to read Mayoi's backpack, and Senjougahara couldn't from that distance. So I was like, is there any more to that line? Like, why was that included? Does Senjougahara have bad eyesight or something? No, it turns out it's actually the opposite. Araragi's vampirism actually gives him really good eyesight, so that's why he could see it. So that's a cool little callback, something really minor that you might not remember when watching this episode, but after like rewatching the whole thing with all the information, you might pick up on that. But that is something that I specifically remembered because it was such an interesting line. It was such an interesting thing to have in there. The fact that she couldn't read it from that distance, that stuck out to me. So that's cool. And also, he apparently gives blood to Shinobu every month. Okay, that's a thing, I guess. That's interesting. And he mostly talks about in this text how he just had to deal with this over the spring holiday. Senjougahara was dealing with her thing for 2 years, and he can't imagine what it would have been like to be in such a state for 2 entire years. And it starts to make more sense to him because of that she would feel like so indebted to him because she went through that for so long. So yeah, that was actually really cool to go back and look at that text that just flashed by so fast initially. But yeah, not an eventful episode, but an entertaining, fun one. There are small little tidbits here and there that I could be totally wrong about and might not pay off at all, or might pay off in totally different ways than I expect, but just small things with Senjougahara and Hanekawa and Mayoi. Some really good aspects to the visuals and the presentation as a whole, just on a general surface level, and also possibly a deeper one if I'm right about my theories. And I'm fairly confident in the ghost thing, but we'll see. Some intrigue there, some fun interaction, some fun dialogue as always. Hopefully next time we will have some things actually happening. Presumably Senjougahara will tell Araragi what the deal is with Mayoi, and then we can try to resolve that. And I don't know what the deal will be. Like, I'm pretty sure we won't just, like, if she is dead, send her to the afterlife or something. I'm pretty sure she would stick around as a character. So I don't know, can you bring her back to life? Or would she just be a ghost who just hangs around? Or what? But I'm pretty sure we'll have some actual things transpiring next episode to try to deal with her, and that might be the end of the arc. But yeah, it was just a fun episode, and I'm looking forward to seeing how much of what I'm thinking right now comes true next time. So we'll see how it goes. That's about all I have for now, but we can talk about it more in the comments below if you have anything you want to say about Mayoi or any of this stuff. And yeah, check out the other links in the description while you're down there. You got Twitter, Discord, Patreon, all that great stuff. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for all the support, and I will see you in the next one.